You know how when we were growing up, the idea of living in a third world country seemed so far off? It seemed like something you would watch in a documentary or something that you'd read about. Now it just feels closer than ever because you go out into the cities and you see streets lined with tents. You see more and more people living in cars. You see people that can't afford food anymore.
This is what our shitty ass healthcare has come to, where my patients need medicine and supplies and their insurance won't cover it, and here I am spending my own money because my patient needs it and he doesn't have any money and he can't work. And the insurance won't even cover what he needs. And I'm sad and I'm sick and tired of it.
I'm about to be homeless in like 2 days. I don't want your pity or I don't want you to feel bad for me. But what I would like is for anyone to know what it's like to live in your car and maybe some essentials that I can pick up that's going to be super helpful. I already have like a little porta potty situation, but I'm thinking of like, I don't know, maybe some electrical things that I'll need for like charging stuff. I mean, I have car chargers, but like I really don't want to have my car like on the whole time while I'm doing it. I think my car charges while it's off. Any essentials that you think I might need, anything that will be helpful, even any places that I can go and like park to be safe. I am in California, so if you know the area, specifically Bay Area, that would be helpful. I'm gonna get a gym membership so I can shower and all that stuff. Any places not to go, any don'ts that you can offer, let me know. But I'm a woman, so I just want to feel safe. I want to feel comfortable. Obviously, I'm outside, but and I was already thinking about getting some like window covers so that way people can't see in at night. But yeah, I'm in California. If you have any tips, please leave them in the comments.
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make $20-some an hour. A livable wage here is like 30-some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
The extraordinarily wealthy in this country, I don't think have ever experienced being at a counter at the grocery store trying to figure out, can the $40 I have left in my checking account until Friday get me this gallon of milk for my kid, fill my gas tank to get to work, and give my kid lunch money, because you don't want them to feel the pain, and get the gallon of milk and the bread and the deli meat. Can it do all of that? Because the $40 really can't. And you as the parent know that. And yet, a lot of these people will think you're lazy. Well, just work harder. And these people are already maxed out. They already have a master's degree. They have more education than those other people who say, well, just work harder.
Y'all, I just saw something that touched my heart. I just saw a mom hooked up to a machine who states that she is giving her plasma in exchange for money to be able to afford her children's school clothes and supplies. A mom is giving plasma. This is what's happening in the USA. And I just want to say, as a former single mom myself, who was once a homeless single mom, I know how hard single moms work to provide for their children. I am absolutely praying for single moms out there. But I also want to add this. There are a lot of single moms who are finding that it is better to move abroad as it relates to affordability. There are many countries out there where you can go and you will find that the cost of living is a lot less than America.
I was thinking about this. We are the richest country on the planet, one of the richest countries. Why does it look like ass? Like, really think about that for a second. Like, when you're driving, if you're not in like Florida or California or the coast of like Oregon or whatever, it's like, this place looks like shit. And we have so much money. Like, I'm thinking of like Europe and Japan and all the architecture like across the world and how beautiful it looks. Why don't we have like rose gold buildings, and like, why does the Kmart's and like all of the stores look like shit? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm closing my eyes and I can imagine like like look at China, like Shanghai, like the coast, like all those videos you see. That's like, no joke, stunning, beautiful, high tech. You would think America would look like that with the amount of money that we have, but it just looks like, ugh, you know what I mean?
You want to see something disgusting? I just did a little bit of grocery shopping. Let me look, hang on. $106.70 for that.
I remember when I used to pay $60 for a bag. That's crazy.
I don't know about you, but I miss being like regular sad about the world and not like catastrophically horrified every day by the world. Just me?
You just don't want to admit it, but van life equals housing crisis. This isn't a vibe, and this is not freedom. This is what happens when housing collapses and survival becomes illegal. Millions of us are being pushed to live into vehicles just to survive. And cities are treating us like shit. And for most of us, van life is the last resort, and we're being hunted for it.
So I see a whole bunch of people, I don't know if they're real or not, that's why I'm not going to pull the comments, talking about becoming homeless or houseless, however you want to identify it as, and how they're going to choose hospital parking lots because it's safer. And I just want to put this into perspective as a woman in her 50s who lives in an off-road vehicle. You need to throw this ideology of I need to stay safe out the window, because there is absolutely nothing safe about living in a vehicle ever. First of all, the weather. It's about to be over 100 degrees, which means it's going to be probably about 110 in your vehicle. And since most homeless people have a problem with detachment, you're probably hoarding as much stuff as you can from your old life in that vehicle, giving you even less space to live and to breathe. So that is probably the last thing you need to worry about, is where can I sleep that's safe? You need to worry about your health. You need to worry about how are you going to stay hydrated, how are you going to exercise, and how are you going to give yourself the quality of life you deserve? Because just because you're living in your car does not mean you don't deserve things. And if I can tell you one thing you need to master, it is going to be the art of detachment and get rid of all that shit in your car. You don't need it. It doesn't serve you. You're holding on to a life that no longer exists. Get rid of it. It's holding you down. It is going to be so hot. You have no idea what it is like to be homeless when it is hot. So if you want to think about safety, I highly suggest you start thinking about where you're going to live near water and with cooler temperatures. Because driving around the city you became homeless in is a trauma loop. And going from hospital parking lot to hospital parking lot, that's not safety. You're a moving target. That's what you are. And I don't know if a lot of you are in the understanding that being homeless is pretty much a crime in almost every state. Whether it's a crime or not, you are shunned, you are looked down on, the police give you problems, and nobody likes the homeless.
So when it comes to, oh, I just want to feel safe, I'm a single woman and living in my car, nobody gives a nobody gives a you are now homeless.
So this is America 2025. For millions of people, they feel like they follow the rules, they work hard, yet they still can't afford anything. And for many, many people, they're one emergency away from losing everything because you don't have a savings, you don't have a safety net, you're drowning in debt. What can you do? A lot of people don't know what to do.
So we all know that this economy has gotten really expensive. And I'm just curious. I will tell you what I've redone in my current everyday life. I'm just curious what you've done. So for me, I don't eat out. I haven't eaten out in 5 years. I cook everything from scratch. I have a garden. Now, I had the garden before this administration, but I doubled it this year so that I had more variety and more things to preserve to try to lower costs at the grocery store. I went to my doctor and had them put all of my medications to generics. They don't necessarily always work as well, but I decided I had to do something because my out-of-pocket for my meds was around $1,000 every 3 months, and I had to lower that. So I did that. I did that in February. And then I don't go anywhere for vacations. I do staycations because it's just not, I'm not outputting any money right now. I'm trying to pay off all my bills. So I'm limiting trips. So I try to plan ahead and plan my entire month. So I'm only going 1 day a month to the stores. I do have the luxury of working from home, so that is, I know not everybody has that, but I'm trying to lessen my gas usage, lessen the times that I go places, or if I try to go to places that are closer to home so that I keep that cost down. I have animals. I have 2 chows, and those 2 chows, I went through all of the things that I annually did at the vet and determined which one I thought was a risk and which one I thought wasn't. And a couple of their annual vaccinations I decided I didn't need to do. One is kennel cough. We don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere besides this house. They're not going to get it from each other because it's exposure to other animals, and we don't go anywhere. Lepto, which is standing water issues. I didn't see that as a need because, again, we don't go anywhere. We live here and there's no standing water in my backyard. So there are things that I did to downsize and redo my costs, trying to deal with this. But I'm curious. I know a lot of you are struggling. I'm just curious what you've done to change the way you do things to try to address the rising costs.
Unfortunately, the standard of living is falling for many people here in the United States. And for those of you that are fortunate enough right now to make some changes, to save money, to put food away for a rainy day, to downsize while you can, to try and store up some provisions for future hard times, to think about the idea of what if you lose your job, start thinking of some backup plans, move in with family if you can. For those of you that are starting to do those things, good for you. If you have extra money, think about storing your money in forms of assets because that is going to save you later on. And something to keep in mind, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So really think about that with where you are storing your money, if you're looking into different assets and things like that. So hope this video has opened your eyes to the reality of what a lot of people are going through right now, because a lot of people think that everything is perfectly fine. And even though things may be fine in your life, it's not for a lot that are around you. The state of the economy is collapsing every single day, and you got to plan for the future. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Take care.